Good morning, Bill. I just had two here. Going back over the game, I just know you guys prepare for everything, so I'm sure the tempo that the Dolphins started the game with offensively, wasn't any surprise. I was just sort of curious where you saw the problems were with just defensively handling that, because I know that obviously wasn't the way you guys would want to start defensively.
Yeah, I don't think that was as big a problem as just the way the plays were played.
And then after the game, Damien Harris said he was accountable for his fumble when he was speaking with us, and he said he was ready to move on. I know for coaches, sometimes there's a process of holding players accountable by reducing playing time. How do you approach a situation like that with Damien moving forward?
Well, there's a lot of things all of us could have done better in the game, so I think we all need to improve on the areas that we're responsible for and do a better job next week.
Next question, Chris Ryan, followed by Henry McKinnon.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
Good.
Did you see this as being mostly, execution? I mean, you talked about the effort being where you kind of wanted it to be. Was this just execution across the board, or did you see other issues specifically?
Yeah, I don't think I said the effort's where I wanted to be. I said I thought we played hard and gave good effort, but there's certainly a lot of room for improvement in every area by all of us. So that's what we're going to focus on.
And just wanted to ask about the tight end play as well. I mean, I know you mentioned everyone, meaning everyone, but just your initial impressions of seeing Jonnu and also Hunter on the field together, and the potential that those two have.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're both good players, but I think again we all need to do a better job. There's not anybody that falls outside of that category, so that's what we'll work on.
Next question, Henry McKinnon, followed by Mike Reese.
Morning, Bill. I was wondering about Mac Jones, whether after you had some time to look at the film, whether you had a little more, had more thoughts on how he played, particularly, as the second half rolled on, where it seemed like maybe he was finding a rhythm passing.
Yeah, I mean, I keep, I don't want to keep being redundant here, but it's all really the same. We did some good things in the game. I mean, we certainly had our opportunities, but we didn't do enough in any area to have the results that we want, and so there's a lot of room for improvement for all of us, coaches, players, whatever position you want to name, whatever player you want to name. I mean, everybody did enough good things to give us an opportunity and put us in position, and we were competitive and had our chances, but in the end we weren't able to take advantage of them and capitalize on them. So we all have a lot of work to do in terms of finishing those opportunities and getting the results we want. So I mean, I don't know how any other way to put it. It's the same for everybody. There's not like one player cost us a game and somebody else won the game for us and all that. Like, that's just not what happened.
If I could ask one more, Nelson Agholor was limited all week, and I think he was having some limitations, in training camp. So, what does it say about his ability to prepare, that he was able to, contribute in the way, even with those limitations at practice?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the National Football League, and I'm sure that situations like that come up on every team, and we've had them with other players, and we had them with him, and we'll have them. Everybody will have them. So that's part of being a professional and doing what you can do, and not focusing on what you can't do, but preparing for what you can do, and then when the other things fall into place, then you go out and play. So.
Next question, Mike Reese, followed by Andrew Callahan.
Bill, we got our first look of Durant, the offensive tackle who you guys had got from the Chiefs there. I don't even think we had a chance to ask you about him since you acquired him. What is it about him that you guys wanted to work with? And I guess that, yeah, what is it about him that made you want to go get him?
Oh, well, we think he'll have a chance to contribute, and he hasn't been here long. We'll see how it goes.
And just sort of along those lines, with him getting in the game late there, I was curious, like on something like that, you had a couple options when you lose Trent after the first series. Is it you could like Mike has played out there, and you get Ted, but if you don't practice that way during the week, is that something like what is a consideration? I guess is what I'm asking with how you juggle it, and how much is that contingent on how you practice leading up to the week when you're juggling things around like that?
All right, well, of course, ultimately, we want to do what's best for the team, and so whatever all the considerations are, we take those into account and try to make the decision we feel like is best for the team. So there are multiple considerations, but in the end, the decisions we make are the ones we feel that are best.
Next question, Andrew Callahan, followed by Mark Daniels.
Bill, I wanted to ask you about the kind of shift you made mid-game from running more 11 versus 12 personnel, and I don't know if you saw anything, that kind of drove those struggles when things seemed to open up when you transitioned a little bit more to 11. Was there any commonality there with the success you had going with more with 3 receivers?
Yeah, we used multiple groups in the game, and I mean, honestly, we were able to move the ball and with a number of different types of plays and people in the game. We just didn't result in enough points and enough efficiency. But again, we can hopefully build on the positive things that we did, and if we can eliminate some of the problems and negative plays, then we'll be a lot better off. Whatever group that is, doesn't really matter.
One more for me. Just, I know you've talked in the past, going way back, just about when you face an NFC divisional opponent you see once every 4 years, is it part of the offseason dedicated to getting more familiar with them, understanding obviously there's a lack of familiarity. Is that true also for divisional opponents like the Jets coming up here when you have a new coaching staff, a lot of new players? Is there a segment of the offseason dedicated to a similar process?
Yeah, well, of course, there's limited information this year, so whatever other information we can, games we can study or whatever else we can find out about a division opponent that we play early in the season, then yeah, of course we would try to do that.
Next question, Mark Daniels, followed by Michael Hurley.
Hey, good morning, Bill. Just on the penalties, I mean, obviously you don't coach players to get penalties in games, but when you have a game like you did, 8 penalties, what adjustments, if any, do you and the coaching staff make to correct some of those issues?
Yeah, well, we'll continue to address it. We haven't been a highly penalized team. We don't want that, and hopefully we'll have fewer of them going forward. So hopefully we can do a better job of coaching it, and players have to make decisions. And it's a fast game and there's a lot happening there, but hopefully we can certainly eliminate some of the plays that don't involve that, penalties that don't involve that, and use good judgment on our playing style and make good decisions.
Looks like the last 2 questions will be Michael Hurley and Phil Perry.
Hi, Bill. I just had another question on the penalties. I was just curious, when a game ends and you see the numbers, 8 penalties, 84 yards, do you see it as a collective, or is there like an itemization, whether it's, mental error, physical error, maybe something, a missed assignment led to a hold on unblocked pressure, things like, is it separated, or is it just kind of one group, 884 too many?
Yeah, well, again, there's a lot of different types of penalties that can come up in the game, and I think there are different points on each one. But yeah, in the end, it's too many. The ones that are easily preventable, we need to prevent. Again, football is a fast game, and sometimes things happen and are close calls, and that's what it is. But as much as we can, obviously, play within the rules and not commit unforced errors, that's what we always try to do. I didn't see a lot of penalties that were caused by mental errors out there, but whatever the cause is, we got to try to commit fewer of them.
And last question, Phil here.
Hey, Bill, I'm wondering if you learned anything about Mac from a toughness standpoint yesterday. Obviously, he's not getting hit in practice. The opportunities for him to get hit in preseason aren't that extensive. So did you learn anything about him and how he handles getting hit, picking himself up, and continuing to play yesterday?
Yeah, well, he's playing in preseason games and practice and so forth, so yeah. I mean, that's part of football. If you play that position, play any position, that's part of football.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks, everyone.
Great, thank you.